So good morning. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm really excited for our interview. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Amazing.
I think I will start off by embarrassing myself by asking you like how to pronounce your name. I know how it's written, but I never heard it pronounced.
It is Ba-ra. So it is Ba.
Bara.
Yes, Bara.
Bara.
Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
great. And the last name then is
Hmaidy.
Hmaidy.
Yeah,
Something like that.
you
Okay.
pronounced it great. Amazing.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's the first time I'm pronouncing the Lebanese name, I suppose it is.
Mm-hmm. Do that.
Yeah, and it was interesting to know to me, like prior to having this conversation, I didn't know that we're actually on the same time zone. I'm up here in Finland, and you're in Lebanon,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
also
was impressed too.
yeah, and the I told you before we started recording that the closest that I've ever been is Cyprus, which is right there. It's a island next to it, but never to Lebanon. But I would love to visit one day.
We'd love
What
to
would you
have,
recommend for me to do?
uh, like, I'd recommend you to go to places where Lebanon. Okay.
There's too many.
Yeah. Okay. Lebanon is very beautiful. I, although I don't go to many places, okay, I don't visit many places in Lebanon, but I know that the mountains, the nature, the forest is amazing. So if you want to visit Lebanon, consider visiting our mountains. Consider visiting Beirut, Jbel,
Mhm.
Batroun. They're amazing places. Saida. Um, yes, I'm not a good person to recommend because I barely go out. I just go out for walks, but I know my Lebanon. My Lebanon is amazing.
Yeah, and you can find beauty around every corner, I suppose. And to me, mountains are always pretty impressive. I don't know if you know, but Finland is quite flat as a country, so we don't really have any mountains. Like Norway stole all the mountains, I suppose. It's got all the beautiful mountains in the Nordic countries,
Hmm.
but here in Finland, it's fairly flat. So we need to go somewhere in the north. We have a little bit, but along the way, not too much. We for us, it's forest and lakes, which is also beautiful. I just visited a cottage over the weekend by a lake, and that's it was actually still frozen, so it was still a little bit disappointing the whole lake. But apart from that, it's a beautiful view as well, and I love being in the nature. And unfortunately, I don't do it often enough. And do you yourself do you live amongst the nature as well, or in a big city, or
Now I live in a village, so there's nature all around. You know,
no? It's beautiful.
trees, mountains, the river. We have a river also. So yeah,
Is it somewhere that you grew up in?
yeah, it's the same place I grew up in.
Nice.
Yeah, I go every day for a walk and in nature, and it's really, really grounding, right?
Yeah, and it's something. The word grounding actually brings to me. I don't know if you know about this concept, but I read about it a couple of years ago that actually the Earth carries this electromagnetic field that we are getting disconnected from. So it's also called grounding when you take your shoes off and you go touch the ground literally, and then you get connected with the electromagnetic fields of it, and it's healing to you as well. And it's
Best feeling ever. I remember um every time I go there and I spend like an hour, I come back home another human being. I feel I'm seeing the world from another lens. You know this feeling? Like
yeah,
you are connected to everything. You see everything uh, uh, from its true nature. I don't know if you really understand what I'm saying, but
yeah,
you start seeing everything around you as if it's you.
interconnectedness.
Yeah, it's healing and powerful.
There's a Finnish book that's called Suomalainen metsäkylpy, which translates into Finnish forest bath,
Mm-hmm.
and it also describes these multiple benefits that you get from just by walking into nature, how it reduces your stress and all this kind of like the healing powers that it carries. So it's and one of the funny things to me is when you said that like you feel connected to the nature and to the forest. And it's kind of curious that we actually consider people to be apart from nature, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you Google the word nature, you don't see pictures of people. You just see mountains, you see lakes, you see forest, you see all this kind of thing, but not people. So we're even in the description of nature disconnecting us from the word, even though there's nothing in between actually when we look at it that way, as you were describing, because you are one with it.
Exactly. You are one with it. You were born from nature and you'll go back to nature. Right.
Yeah. And we are getting more and more disconnected from it every day. We're
100%.
building the cities, we're wearing all these clothes, and we're never going back to the
And the
nature. So
technology
it's
also, there's
yeah.
uh, every day there's something new and you just want to discover it. So you lock yourself inside your house and you just want to see what is the world up to, right? So we're
I
getting,
have very
yeah.
Yeah, I have very conflicted view when it comes to technology. I've been working in technology field for some years, and I'm intrigued by the possibilities that it gives to humanity, and it's very interesting and curious to see. But on the other side is they said that like it's still making us more and more disconnected from nature, and that part worries me, and the other part is super interesting to me, and I don't know how to combine those two things in my head. Do you struggle with this kind of
Uh,
ideas?
yes, I used to. However, I chose to set a time for myself every day to go walk actually in nature and feel the sun, feel the grass, feel the sand. And I go every day now and I take pictures of the beautiful nature. I take pictures of flowers. I just to remind myself of how simple things are and how we make them complex and how really there is beauty out there and inside us. So yeah, I actually made a plan called it adding life to my life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, where I set um, 5 or 6 tasks to do daily. One is walk, one is feel the sun. And by feel the sun, I mean to be in the moment. Um,
Mm.
and when I started applying it, I really felt the difference. I felt like all the worries and all the things I was overthinking and I was feeling bad or negative about are nothing, are just things in my mind. Yeah,
We often live in the past and worry about the future, and all the answers are here in the now. So I believe that's what you're discovering as well.
exactly. Have you read the book The Power of Now?
I have listened to it, yeah, but because I occasionally I do audiobooks and occasionally the hardcovers. I prefer hardcovers, but
Mm.
sometimes audiobooks it's a little bit more handy when you're at the walk. But I did listen to it, but it's been a while, so I don't remember most of it. But I remember the essence and the core of it. Like it's everything. I think it was in this book that it was mentioned. Even anything that happened in the past didn't happen in the past. It happened in the now in the past, and the same thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And
There is
I
no
and I
past, no future. It's only this moment.
yeah. This is also the topic that I discussed in a previous episode as well. like living in the power of living in the now. It's extremely powerful, and us humans are pretty much the only animals who can start worrying about what's going to happen in 2034 for humanity, and how my how the events that happened 20 years ago ruined my life completely. Like, I think humans are the only ones who are capable of this kind of sort of ridiculous thinking, but
Overthinking.
the so yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go back to, like you said that you were born and raised in a small village in Lebanon, but what are you actually doing at the moment, and what are your targets in life from career perspective, personal happiness perspective? So who is Bara?
Um, what I'm currently doing, I'm currently working with an entrepreneur and advisor as a business developer. So I'm learning a lot from him. As what I wanna be, I know that I'm not gonna be an employee, and I have my own business one day. I believe in this. Since I was a kid, I was like 7. They used to ask me, "What do you want to be? What do you want to have?" I have my own company. I used to tell them, I have my own company. And at that time, I don't know what's business. I didn't know what is business and how to do business. But I've always have this idea, this vision, this this uh, uh, this picture in my mind that I have a company. I am a businesswoman, and yeah. So what's the
Did
business?
you have some people around you who were entrepreneurs where you took it,
No,
or was
no
it
one
just
is
in
an
your
entrepreneur.
own?
No
Oh wow.
one is an entrepreneur.
Okay.
They are all employees, and some don't work. You know, and
So you have a natural instinct towards it.
mhm. And in 2000, like I don't know, 17, 18, there was the trend of vision boards, right?
Yeah.
So okay, I tried it, and there was a magazine cover of an entrepreneur. The name in the name entrepreneur, and at that time I didn't know what does entrepreneur mean, but I knew it's something in business, like a businesswoman, right?
Yeah.
So I liked the topic, and I added my picture on it, and I hanged it on my wall.
Hmm.
Coming back to it 2 years later, I was looking at myself like, I knew this. I'm gonna be this, I know, one day. So it's pretty, I don't know, um, impressive or beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it's something you're aiming for. It's pretty clear to. But have you taken deeper? Have you taken a deeper dive into why would it be like? Why would you prefer to be a businesswoman instead of an employee? Like, what would be the main reasons? How would you put it?
The main reasons. At that time, I didn't have a reason. I had an instinct, this feeling that you can't put,
Intuition.
yeah, this feeling that you can't put into words.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something was telling me, I have my own company. I'm gonna do my own business.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what is the target? Have you visualized what kind of company or?
Uh, Not exactly, but something that will help entrepreneurs in growing their business or in their mental health.
Okay. And I also see like the where I find you is on LinkedIn. Of course, you're being very active on it. Like, what kind of benefits have you found through that platform?
Um, Benefits, clarity, and at some point, clarity and connection with valuable people, goal-driven people, people who want to win. people who want to, uh, who have goals, who have the growth mentality. This is what I strive for. This is what I want, you know, and connecting with you and with people like you on LinkedIn was really a good start for me in 2023 this year.
Mm.
So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's offering a lot of benefits, and the way I see that you're writing, like your writing is also pretty clear. Because I sometimes I see people who are posting about very generic things or don't know how to articulate, or it's just looks like a mess. But I think your writing is also pretty clear and delivers a good message to people as well. So it's easy to relate to and easy to read, which is
I'm happy.
important.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like when it comes to, because I have very limited understanding of on doing business. I have some understanding of Finnish side of business or through the news from America, but it's just in my head. But how would you describe is being an entrepreneur in Lebanon? Is this something that often people would do? Is there a good structure governmentally to become an entrepreneur? Is it supported, or what kind of understanding do you have of this aspect of
Yes.
entrepreneurship in Lebanon?
I don't know the legal procedures you have to follow to register your business. But yes, we have a highly supportive community for entrepreneurs. We have communities like I can name few for you, like for example, Park Innovation, where you can go and okay, wait for me.
No worries. We've got all the time in the world.
Yeah, yeah, you can go and rent a desk and work from there. And actually, there's 5 startups or so. I'm not sure. There are more than 5 that was born from Park Innovation. So in Park Innovation, there's workshops, webinars, and talks about entrepreneurship. And they help people ideate and innovate and start their business. We have, for example, Veritech. Veritech, it's their specialty to turn your idea into business, right? And
Right.
we have, for example, in Jazz, we have rural entrepreneurs where they educate youth on entrepreneurship. So yeah, we have a supportive community for entrepreneurs and for startups, and we have people that can help you bring funds to your business, and we have also we have a promotional agency, an investment promotional agency. I don't know what its name. Uh, I guess it's IDAC or IDAL. I don't know, but yeah, they help
Yeah.
you also secure funds for your business investments. I mean, yeah. So in
Okay.
general,
Have
there's a
you?
supportive community for entrepreneurs to start. There's supportive people who can help you. And nowadays, everything is online. So having a phone or having a laptop is enough, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
registering the company as a company may come later on, I believe.
But you also talk about the importance of community, and you talk about this on LinkedIn as well. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of that is online nowadays, and thanks to COVID partly as well, and over the past few years at least. But what is your main way of creating and joining and building communities? Are you doing it mainly online, or do you actually get together in the places like you mentioned?
As for growing, okay, everyone who has an account acting on any platform, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. The people he connects with are his community. The people who he engage with and he interacts and are his or her community. So I look at the people on my LinkedIn as my community. and on
Mm.
Instagram too. Because you know, one can't do anything alone. They can't succeed, right? And
Yeah.
there's no such a thing like a self-made millionaire or billionaire, because there's no one self-made. No one can do anything alone. You need people to help you. And even if the community has no name or no label, it's still a community. It can be 3 people, it can be thousands of people, right? And I believe to get people to uh, share your vision and your values, you need to put yourself out. You need to have a message, right? Uh, this is the first thing. You need to have a message. You need to show up to life so it recognizes you, right? You need to show up, share what you know. And third thing, you need to give. Now, like online, you can give put a lot of content, right?
Mm.
And you need to listen to your community. And I believe also you have to support them if they have anything, or if they're starting a new endeavor, or they've achieved something, or they need help. Gotta support them too, right? To keep them community. So I have a community that I was part of. Uh, I was part of the team when this community started.
Mm.
So it is called Lebanon Networking Hub. And I can tell you that when I had to leave the team for my job that I'm working now, I I felt like it's a breakup for real,
Mm.
uh, because I love this community a lot. I It's not that I love the people. I love the people I used to work with, but what I love the most about it is the vision behind it and the message
Mm.
behind it. So it's about connecting people. The slogan is connecting people, right? And it connects entrepreneurs, freelancers, and professionals from all industries in Lebanon through events, workshops, webinars, seminars, and stuff like that. Um, so yeah,
For how long were you part of it?
for like 1 month.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
not too
So
not too long, not too long, but
no, but it's a quick connection that you can create with the group.
right
But was it only online, or did you also meet them face to face?
now. It started online. Then the launch was face to face, and we had an event last week. It was a master class, and it was on physical. So I'm gonna share something emotional, but we
Sure.
this community passed in a phase where there was no events, no workshops, nothing. You know, so I was like contacting the team and the founder, and please do something. I was sharing videos, sharing stories, the story about the
Yeah.
community. Do something. Don't let this community die. Don't let this community go for nothing. Because I love the community. I know what it is about. I know the story behind it, and the story is amazing. And once they shared that we have a master class, I was like, oh my God, yes, yes. And I couldn't help myself, and I started crying. I really
Yeah.
slept crying. Uh, and I believe this, I believe this is how you create a community. This is the feeling that should be among everyone in the community. They have to believe that they are an important uh, person in this community. They matter, and they help this community in succeeding.
Everybody has a role,
Yeah,
and then like when you have this common vision that you mentioned earlier, it creates and when it's like-minded people, it creates this kind of energy
hundred
that
percent,
drags you into it.
100%.
And who would you say are from public figures, international figures, are some mentors or authors that you look up to, or you like to listen to their message or read their books? Who would you name as a few? Does anyone come to mind?
Um,
I know
we
you at least mentioned one of the books is the Blue Ocean Strategy. I know that you've read, or the Untethered Soul. It's these kind of books that you mentioned before that you
I
like.
mentioned the untethered soul.
I think so, but
Okay.
maybe I'm mistaken.
No, no,
This is
no.
not something that you.
No, actually, I love this book. I've read it, but I'm not sure where I shared it, but it's a good memory.
Yeah,
um, yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I think you mentioned it's one of the great books that you like.
amazing. Yeah, I love, when it comes to looking up to in spirituality, I look up to in spirituality and leading. I look up to an Arab guy. He's Ihab Hamarni. He has a book. He has written a book. If we translate the title, it is "Be You" in English, right?
Okay.
Um, where he
Is
takes.
it also translated in English? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I
Okay,
I search. I search about it and
sure.
I sent it to you. So I don't remember anything from the book, right? But I remember the journey it took me on.
Hmm.
Um,
And what is this journey that it took you on?
it took me on a journey of discovering the self, of knowing that you are much more than blood, bone, and flesh, right? And what you're really afraid of is not something real. And like the notes I took and wrote on the book are even more than the words written in the book.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's like 300 pages. The book's big.
So now you can read your own book. That's notes from the book. Is its own book, right?
Yeah, this is how deep and reflecting reading the book was. Though I don't remember anything, but I remember the feeling and I remember the journey. And the Untethered Soul too. I don't remember anything from it. I read it like 2 years ago. Okay, but it's really liberating.
Yeah.
Uh, you feel powerful within your own soul. You feel that you can do what you want to do. You're actually destined to do it. Yes, this is something.
And
And
how would you describe? Because what I can hear a lot from you is as well the importance of this connecting with the spiritual side of yourself when it comes to the connection to the nature and through these books. So, what kind of role does spirituality play in your life? Like, is it something that you grew up with? Is it something that's around you in your environment, or is it something that you discovered by yourself?
look, mom was spiritual. She still is, but she used to go to meditation classes and she studied Reiki back then. Um, and I grew up and experienced a lot of, I don't know how to say it, but I passed through bad experiences, okay? not so good experiences, let me say.
Do you mean that, like, from bad
Yeah,
experiences
I'm
you
coming to
went in a search for spirituality?
100%. So,
Okay.
so this not so good experiences uh, was like, I don't know, the steps or the journey that took me to study Reiki.
Yeah.
I didn't know my mom studied Reiki back then or knew about Reiki. So
Okay.
the not so good experiences took me to study Reiki. And when I studied Reiki, uh, I knew why things happened the way they happened in my life. I knew why I had to put myself in such pain and suffering. And I studied it with my friend. So we helped each other in healing. Yeah, it taught me how emotions can stuck in your body and can cause you pain. And you have, at some point, you have no control on that because you don't know. But once you know, you can liberate yourself. And now when I feel pain, I usually feel pain in my lower back. And it has many causes. So when I feel pain now, I know how to heal it. And this is the power of it. And every day, every time I get triggered from something, I really go back to my past experience. I go back to ask myself why I'm feeling this way, what's happening. And this is why I believe everyone should really look into spirituality. So you should study a part of spirituality at least. Because it's big, can't know everything about it. But you can know at least how to regulate your emotions, how to heal yourself, right? And when it goes to business, and books I've read, yeah, Blue Ocean. I've read it and read it and read it. And I have quite some great books in mind that I'm willing to study too. Business book. I don't read business books. I study them. That's the thing.
Oh,
Yeah. So
yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's like one of my public mentors, who's Naval Ravikant. I think he said that, like, most business books are just simple ideas put into hundreds of pages. So he doesn't read a lot of business books for that reasons, but there's, of course, there's plenty that can be helpful. But also some of the ones that I've started reading, it's like I can see that there's in many of them there's a simple idea, and that it's a spread out to just cover one book. So it's often,
100%. And the more you read, the more you can really build ideas on each other, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the Reiki healing thing as well, because I suffer a lot from, not a lot, but occasionally also from lower back pain. So I would also need this kind of healing power to tap into that. But what are some other tools that you tap into when exploring spirituality? You also mentioned meditation through your mother. Is meditation some practices that you're doing yourself?
Currently, yes, I'm doing meditation every day. Um, and Reiki, going back to Reiki, it's you sit in a meditation pose, right? And you call upon this healing energy. First, you'll have to study it with a teacher. So you call upon this healing energy and you put your hands on the places you want to heal, right? Throat
Mm.
chakra, for example, your heart, and you just imagine the energy going to this place and healing it. And you have to say like I don't know what we call them. You have to call upon the symbols. There's symbols in Reiki, powerful symbols, and every symbol has its role. So you call upon the symbols, and actually you feel the energy. When I used to put my hands to on my lower back and do Reiki and still do it. When I finish, I feel a cold breeze. I feel this place is cold. And this coldness is the energy doing its work,
Hmm.
right?
So it's a like combination of meditation and then thinking through this healing process and then
Yeah,
using your hands.
100%. Because
Okay.
we're energetic beings. We have the power to heal ourselves. And I believe
Yeah.
too that the first step you have to take consciously and unconsciously. You have to convince your subconscious mind first before you start healing that you accept what it is and you forgive and let go with love. Every time I experience a not so good experience, or when I get triggered from something, I put my hands on the place that I feel the emotion in, and I breathe into it, and I tell myself, I choose to forgive, I choose to let go with love. And I do this after knowing the reason why I felt this way. I know forgiveness is not easy at some point, but you have to. Because
Yeah.
if you don't forgive, you'll suffer. You'll suffer unconsciously.
Yeah, there's a self-awareness and acceptance through understanding of who you are and the way that you feel helps you to let it go, I suppose. But that's a interesting concept, and I believe more and more people should look into that. And even start with a simple practice of 5 minutes meditation just to see what's actually happening inside your head and start from there. Then you can take steps into more advanced
Yeah, and the more you get
ideas.
deep into it, the more you realize why things happen the way they happen.
Yeah. And you also talk about the importance of mental health that it's I think it's somewhere in your LinkedIn bio as well, like
Mm.
how you want to talk about that. Like now I know that meditation, Reiki, and these kind of things and self explorations and nature are the ones that are some tools for you to obtain the mental health. Is it something that are there some other tools, or are you also helping other people how to find it, and or why is it important for you to talk about the mental health?
Why? Because I suffered a lot with my mental health. And
Okay.
the feeling of suffering alone and having no one to tell. Um, and I know the more awareness should be raised around this topic. So it's true that I don't talk about it till now a lot on my LinkedIn because I don't have the full knowledge about it. But what I know is that we can support each other. And what I do personally now, I feel the emotions. I am feeling the anger, the resentment, the grief, and I look to it. I imagine that it is a person. I look at it, and what is shape. Sometimes I imagine that anger is a person. It's a black person.
Hmm.
They talk to it. What do you want? Why are you here? What am angry? Am I angry? So I start to question myself until I know the real reason behind it and then heal it. Uh, and to
Are you familiar with the therapeutic therapeutic concept inner family systems? because it sounds like a bit similar to what you're doing. It's I think it was developed. I hope I get the name right. It's called Richard Schwartz. He created this method of inner family systems, which is a form of therapy where you picture in your head, like you mentioned, like there's a emotion like anger, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you sit around a table and you look at kind of yourself or some sort of figure. One is anger, one is resentment, one is sadness, and then you face them in your mind and you talk to them, and then you accept what they have done to you, and then you're ready to let them go, and you visualize that they actually walk away from you. So this is it's
Yes,
similar to what you're
the
saying came to my
walking.
mind. Maybe it's interesting.
Yes, continue, please.
Yeah, maybe it's interesting for you to look up to as well if you weren't familiar with it before.
Yeah,
But
please
I can
send
show
me
you
the
the
link or
links.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually visualize the living thing when I'm doing forgiveness. So I visualize myself talking to the person that caused the pain, the real person behind the pain, uh,
Okay.
and I tell them, I choose to forgive you, but I choose to let go of you too. You served your purpose. Thank you. And I visualize myself holding their hands and taking them to the door. And then I see them going and I see myself closing the door behind them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you're okay. So you're talking to the like kind of like an external source of what causes you the anger, and you talk to them instead of
Yeah, like for
the
example,
figures that are just.
100%. If we're talking about the feeling, yeah, I imagine a shape, or imagine, like I said before, I imagine anger as a dark person. And when we're talking about forgiveness, no, I talk to the person, right, in front of him. I imagine him in front of me. I'm talking to him and he's shaking his head, right, in agreement. And this is how forgiveness happens. And going back to Reiki, when I started doing Reiki and knowing about Reiki, uh, I believe this happened for a reason, and everything happens for a reason. So it needed to happen in order to really get to the place I am at now, right? And I studied to neuro-linguistic programming. So I thought to myself, oh, I'm like a life coach now. I'm gonna help young ladies with their home issues and the forgiveness and blah blah blah. Turned out I needed help.
Hmm. You discovered that along the way.
Yeah, I thought that I'll help young ladies stand up for themselves, and I did. I was the one that I should stand up for myself. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's one thing, but also you can look at it from another angle, because sometimes it's really difficult for people to get over the adversities that they're facing in life or difficult emotions, or to make themselves happy. Like one angle you can look at from, like, if you don't know how to make yourself happy, make someone else happy. Because that's also like when you start doing that, then it brings also happiness into
100%,
yourself, without having the doubt that, like, I'm not fixed yet, like I'm a little bit broken, therefore I cannot help the others. Well, actually, you also can do that, even though it's always much better if you can be in the perfect place, well, whatever perfect means, but to help each other.
um,
But you can also, if you can just be there for others, then it's eventually it will help you out as well.
100%. I got you. Helping others when you're helping others, you're helping yourself. That's true. However, when you're trying to coach people on how to live better, and you
Yeah,
yourself aren't living better,
that happens a lot.
Yeah,
I see. There's plenty of so-called life coaches who are doing that.
100%.
But
And that's why I also pivoted to LinkedIn and I changed everything I used to do. Everyone wanted to be a life. We have, I don't know, we have thousands of life coaches in Lebanon now.
mm,
And this all happened in like the past 7 months when the wave
wow,
of life coaching and NLP coaching started to grow. So everyone now uh, reads a paragraph or reads a page from a book and wanna go and talk about it, right? And I don't like to be like anyone else, and I know what they're saying is something they never experienced. They don't know what they're talking about.
yeah,
So I chose to just stop what I'm doing because it's Red Sea, Red Ocean, and then we
yeah,
talk about Blue Ocean and Red Ocean, and never be in a market where it is uh, a red. Create something for
too
yourself.
saturated.
Don't be a copy.
And when it comes to your business vision, are you looking to have a local business or rather international or online business, or how do you see that?
Yeah, definitely. I see myself growing locally and then internationally. Look, I have this vision from childhood too that I'll influence many people, and you know, the world will know who I am. I don't know what's this feeling or this intuition or where does it come from or why it's there, but I know, and the knowing is enough. I have too on my vision board uh, pictures of speakers, right? And the
Yeah,
people giving trainings all over the world. Back then, I didn't
it will
know
guide
anything
you.
about it. Really, I didn't know anything about it, but I don't know. It's a knowing, so we're going with the flow,
Yeah,
for now,
life will show you the path.
100%,
And
hopefully.
what do you think are your next steps still to wrap it up soon? I see that we're approaching about 1 hour, but what are your next steps when it comes to taking into the business side of it? Do you see that now you're going to work for this mentor for some time and then eventually take the next steps into the business? Do you have any timelines that you would say, or are you just exploring things and going with the flow, or how do you see that?
Um, I don't have a timeline now, but what I know is that I'm still here.
Yeah. Is it disconnecting?
Yes, I don't see your picture.
Oh, well, to me, it's still there. And the good thing also about this platform is sometimes it looks like bad quality or the voice is gone, but at the end product, it's always going to be fine. It's going to fix it.
Okay, okay, okay. So going back to your question, I have no timeline or time to start my own thing. I'm just going with the flow. I'm exploring and studying. I believe look this year is a year of studying, real digging. You know. So this year I'm working on myself more. I'm working on my mental health more, and hopefully next year or when I am really ready with the idea, with the clarity, um, I start my own business. I'm not in a hurry. You see a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, of
people
course.
that I have my own business. I want to start my own business. I'm an entrepreneur and blah blah blah. Man, take it
But that's
easy.
was yeah, that's smart approach. It's to build the foundation first.
100%. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So then it's on a
Don't.
healthy base.
Yeah. So one thing my mentor, or one thing, uh, someone I respect and value a lot taught me: don't do anything. Don't start a business if you don't know the exit. You gotta know the exit before you start. So
Mm,
this really hooked me. Yeah, and that's true, I believe.
yeah.
You gotta start strong.
So yeah, the foundation definitely is important, and to understand where you're going for, and to understand who you are and how you're gonna start building from that. It's because as you mentioned, a lot of people, they just jump into the deep end without having any idea what to do, and then soon enough they are in trouble.
100%. Like, really listening to the people who passed and what um, you want to do for you, and you know their pitfalls and you know their mistakes, you can avoid them. So this is one
Yeah,
thing why I believe networking and connections are important. And you should know with whom you are networking,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Sounds like the world is gonna hear from you, hear about you. Like, is there something before we finish off? If there's something that was left unsaid that you wanted to bring up?
Um, Thank you so much. Not really. I don't have anything on mind, but I want to thank you. It was really amazing. I enjoyed it a lot, and
Yeah, that
you are a
thanks to
great
you as
listener
well.
and a great questioner too. I'm impressed.
I try to keep my ears open. I want to finish it off with like one. 'Cause I like to try and encourage people to read books. Like if you would have to, let's say, to put one book on the shelf of high school students that everybody should read, it doesn't have to be the best book, or it doesn't have to be what's on top of your mind, but one of the books that you would find it's very important for people at the age in high school to be important to read.
Hmm.
Tough one.
Tough. Well, yes, I do encourage people to read. People don't read. Few percentage of people read. I I
Yeah.
agree. I encourage them to read. Read. Read and study the books you read. You don't have just to read
Read what you love until you love to read.
them.
That's what
Yeah.
as well.
Start with one page a day and it will
Yeah.
compound. One book that I encourage high school students to read, if it was to me, uh, really tough.
Yeah,
So,
it can be a really difficult question. Like, to me, a couple of books that came to my mind just to give inspiration, I would say Sapiens by Harari, because it brings a good, like,
mhm.
a brief history of humankind. It brings a good overview of how we've come to the place that we are. And to me, it taught me that how insignificant I am as an individual in the whole scale of things in this universe. So, but I'm significant to myself, but in the big picture, I don't play a part. So I should dissolve my ego in that sense. And another one would be actually Jim Quick's Limitless, because it's a book that teaches you how to learn. So you learn how to learn, you learn how to read quicker. So if you read that book first, you know how to learn from the rest of the books that you're going to read.
Well, this is impressive. I've heard a lot about Limitless, but I've never got to read it. Thank you for
Yeah, it's
recommending it.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good book.
I would say The Untethered Soul again.
It's
And
important book.
I would say Psycho Cybernetics too.
I
Psycho-cybernetics
haven't read it.
talks about self-image. How you see yourself, you be. How you talk about yourself, you'll be. And how your physical appearance really matters. He's a surgeon and a psychologist. So he talks about how many people, uh, after doing surgery, plastic surgery, their results in life and their achievements change like 100, like 360, 100%, they change. So the way you view yourself as a worthy person, as a beautiful person, as a person who deserves success, who deserves love, who deserves, all the good things in life, you get them. 100% got them. So this is a thing. Um, yeah, those are the two books that I wish I've read when I was in high
Yeah, so
school.
you can connect with yourself, understand who you are, and then connect with the spiritual side of the world as well. It's good tips.
Yes,
And where can people find you?
you can find me on LinkedIn and you can find me on Instagram as my name, Baraa Hmaidy.
All right. I'll add those links to the description.
Yes,
Thank you so much once again, and talk to you soon.
thank you, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.